where do I start? Let me start by saying that I was not looking for another horse, especially not a stallion. But sometimes life is funny. Sometimes life tells you things. And whether I was ready or not, I had no idea what was coming. A dear friend of mine, Greetje Hakvoort, told me that she was getting 3 Lusitano stallions in training. They were coming from a stable in Germany. She told me that the owner of these horses had one horse that was older and in need of a home to be a horse, to be outside, to do some light work, and to have all the space to move. She said, "That is going to be your horse. I can feel it." I remember looking at her funny, laughing and saying that it was never going to be an option. How on earth would I be able to take home another horse, let alone a stallion? I was there when the horses arrived. First out of the truck came a brown stallion, followed by a black one. I had my camera ready and I was very excited to finally see this white horse Greetje kept talking about. I remember being completely overwhelmed when he was let out of the truck. Oh my God, he was absolutely huge. There was no way that that horse would ever set foot at my house. That was only going to be a dream. It was over an hour drive to Greetje, but I made the trip several times a week to visit Q. I also met his previous owner. We talked about the possibilities. Because at the time I did not have that much experience with stallions, he had his doubts. I wasn't sure either, but I strongly felt a connection with this horse. After weeks of talking to his previous owner, to Greetje, to my parents, but mostly myself, my dad finally told me that he was okay with getting another horse. Of course, we all knew that getting a stallion would require a lot of adjustments, as he could not be kept in the group. This meant a new stable, with a paddock attached to it, and give one of our fields to Q alone. I remember crying my eyes out when my dad said yes. I told Q his previous owner, and he said yes too. I promised him to take good care of Q and to give him a horse-worthy life. In the end of October 2015, Greetje brought Q to me. I remember being so nervous, in complete disbelief. The new stable and paddock were built and everything was ready for him. Q arrived and we put him in his paddock. It was so surreal. I could not believe I actually had another horse now. I wanted to do everything I could to give him a happy and a free life. Q has been a successful dressage horse for most of his life, living at different stables and being trained and handled by different people. I can imagine, after having such a busy life, moving again was difficult for him. So much change in such a short time caused a lot of stress. He had just arrived at Greetje's stable and now he was going to make his way to me. It was very hard for me to see. I was expecting him to be super happy with all the space we gave him, but he simply couldn't handle it. Like, he would graze for a little while and then he would suddenly start screaming, weaving or pacing. I knew that stallions were different to keep usually, and I also know that a horse needs months of settling in. I just wanted him to feel at home so badly. I remember being with him all the time, trying to get him to bond with me, but he was not trying to connect with me. Also, him being my first stallion, I was kind of afraid sometimes. I was told to keep him in check and to show him who was boss. So I would lead him to the riding arena with a super long rope and a whip. Oh, and a bridle with a bit too. Looking back, I wish I would have seen him as a horse instead of a stallion. But luckily, as time went by, we both got to know each other and all this tension went away. I did not want to ride Q the first weeks because I wanted him to know that he did not move here to be trained. I wanted to show him that he was here to stay, to relax, to be a horse, to enjoy his freedom. I don't remember exactly when I first got on his back, but what I do remember is that it was with a bareback pad and without a noseband around his bridle. I wanted to take away as much tack as I could, as fast as I could, again, to show him that this home was different. Riding him was a dream. It felt surreal. And quickly, the bridle got replaced by a bitless bridle and the saddle got replaced by a bareback pad. He really seemed to like it, and so did I. When I was planning on riding, I would let him walk free through the arena and I would wait until he would come up to me. When eventually he was done sniffing and he would come up to me, I would tag him up. I never took him into the arena fully tagged up for me to get on. I would just patiently wait for him to come to me, I would cuddle him and then slowly start tagging him up. Months went by. It became clear that he found it very hard to open up to me. He liked being with me, but we didn't really have a true connection yet. I started to think that this wasn't so strange. Imagine, you have lived in a lot of different places and every time you would bond with someone, you would move. Eventually, you won't try to bond with anyone anymore, right? Because you'll probably leave anyways. I had a strong feeling that this was his mindset. I remember crying a lot and feeling very helpless. I wanted him to feel my love, but he was just not ready yet. I also cried a lot because of his behavior. The weaving, not being able to deal with his new home, stress sweating at night or during the day. But I had to remember myself. This horse has lived a life. He has seen and done so much. Give it time. But for me, being very impatient by nature, this was really hard. Eventually, everything slowly settled down. Of course it did. We made changes to cue his paddock and stable so he could walk to the field himself instead of being led on a rope. My poor dad, he really did not want another horse, and now the majority of his terrain is completely taken by Q. Q and I slowly started bonding, doing many things together, like hacking, playing in the field, and, well, being together. His weird behavior started slowly disappearing, but the weaving is still sometimes here today. Friends of mine loved him too, and they had great fun working with him. He even learned some people to ride, being such a great schoolmaster. Everybody was grateful for his lessons, and you could tell that Q loved this appreciation. He opened up not only to me, but to others as well. Things were good. Then came September 2016. Oh my God. I was going to show Q to our followers and fans at the biggest horse event in the Netherlands. Safe to say, I was dead nervous, but mostly very emotional. People have been following him since the second I told my social media that he was coming, and it was finally time, and we were both ready to introduce him to everyone. Standing next to the arena, the audience couldn't see me yet. I had to walk past the tribune. There were so many people. There were even girls trying to climb the fences, trying to see us. It was literally crazy. I remember sitting on him, waiting for the music to start. I chose the Lion King, as he felt like a king to me. You know, the part where Simba climbs Pride Rock in the rain? It is time, and starts roaring, that song. I heard Jesse introduce us to the audience and the music started playing. I have done so many performances before, but I was shaking, literally shaking. At one point I felt my arms go numb and the sound fade. It was not like a fainting feeling though, it was more euphoric. The music started and I told Q it was time. We walked the pathway to the entrance. Now was the time we would enter the arena, hundreds of people waiting to see him. As Q walked with confidence and the music was building, we entered the arena. I was crying my eyes out, literally crying. Do you know that feeling when your arms sleep and the blood starts flowing again? That annoying tingly feeling? My whole body did that. I was happy, I was overwhelmed, I was nervous. I was feeling like Q and I were carrying this golden light and we were sharing it with every single soul that was watching. People stood up for him. I looked through my tears into the audience and I saw other people crying with me too, clapping, hugging each other. The music was so loud, but I barely even heard it. I felt like a sponge, soaking up the love that was shared in that arena at that moment. I looked into the audience, and every person that looked into the eyes was full of emotion. I was just extremely happy to be there with him, to talk about him, to be able to share my ups and downs with him, and spend the moment with the people I loved dearly. After the show was over, all that happened was people I held dear to my heart come to me, look me in the eyes and hold me close. They would cuddle Q and talk to him. You are just such an amazing horse and you did so well, Q. I have done so many performances in my life, but I have never, ever felt something like this. Everything just came together. The years that followed, up to this day, have just been good. Q is happy, well fed, he has a friend now to have good contact with, and he is home. It literally took years, but we have come full circle. Everything is in place now. Q is enjoying his free life here. He never has to leave again. We love him so much, and I am extremely thankful for all that he's giving me. The ups, the downs, the doubt I had in myself, and how he helped me turn my doubts around to strength and confidence. This horse, this schoolmaster, this fairy tale unicorn, such a big part of my heart. He is giving me, and not only me, so much. Standing by his side makes me feel so humble, so small, but so extremely proud. Q, thank you for opening up to me and letting me in. Thank you for the lessons you have given me. Thank you for all the times you carried my beloved friends around on your back to teach them and to guide them. Thank you for giving me one of the most intense, extreme, amazing experiences in life that I will ever have and feel. Thank you for crossing my path and walking together with me. Thank you for giving me your heart. I will keep it safe forever.